Hello planning mashers and welcome. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you always know when I release a new video. Lately, I got something I've been dreaming for a while, and today I'm doing a review. And what I got is a watercolor notebook by Archer & Olive. And I've been wanting to get into watercolor for a while, and this is my chance. So today I will be reviewing the notebook, doing some watercolor tests, and yeah, just sharing my opinions on whether it's a good bullet journal for you if you are into watercolor. So let's dive in. So here's the notebook, and they have several designs, but I chose this light colored gouache floral one. The notebook is on A5 size, which is a standard size for a bullet journal notebook. It's spiral bound, it has an elastic band to hold the pages together, as well as a pen holder. So it's pretty much everything you would expect from a bullet journal notebook. The cover says dot grid pattern to keep you organized, watercolor paper to exercise your creativity. This notebook promises the paper that is good enough to withstand anything and allow you to be creative, but at the same time having a dot grid, which is perfect to use this notebook as a bullet journal. Now, when you open it, you see the usual page you would see on all the other Archer & Olive notebooks. It's just this notebook belongs to. And after that, we go straight to dot grid pages. Now, the pages are super thick. You can feel it. It's 200 GSM. They are also 100% cotton. So this notebook is completely vegan. There is a dot grid, but again, it's not too bright. So in all of your super creative watercolor drawings, this dot grid will be just a good guide and will not take away from your artwork. At the back, there is a pocket, and it's actually big enough for you to carry around whatever you usually carry around with your notebook. For me, that probably would be some sticky notes and maybe some stickers. Okay, so the first thing I am doing in this notebook is the same that I do in every notebook. It's a pen test. But of course, here we're not testing pens, we are testing watercolors. So I'm taking out my Sakura Koi travel watercolor set. It's whole new. I actually just got it before we left, and I haven't had a chance to use it much. So I quite enjoy the fact that I'm doing this test here because it also allows me to see better what kind of colors I have there and what kind of shades I can get from these colors. The point of this test is to show several different shades which you can get from your watercolor by layering the color over and over and over again. And actually, I must admit that I'm quite a beginner with watercolor, and my water techniques are not completely mastered, so I do tend to use excessive amount of water, and that's why I never use watercolor in my bullet journal, because I just ruin the pages. But this is a watercolor notebook, and the whole point of the test is to see how well this paper can handle the water, so it's perfect. In case you are a beginner with watercoloring or kind of want to improve your skills, I have a blog post review of this Archer & Olive notebook, and there I also added tons of resources to learn watercolor, different techniques, watercolor lettering, and tons of other stuff you can learn for free. These courses are amazing, and I'm taking some of them myself, and it's a lot of fun. So if you want to check that out, the link will be in the description. And I also decided to test here my Ecoline brush pens because they are watercolor based, and a lot of notebooks can't really handle them very well, especially if you layer them a lot. So that's what I tried to do here, to kind of do the same thing I did with watercolor and layer it over and over and over again and see how the paper holds. And just as expected, the paper held perfectly. There is no ghosting, no bleeding, and there's no any sign of any damage on the paper. Now, I must say that if it feels like it's pretty difficult to move the pages, that's kind of my bad. The thing is, this notebook was brought to me from US by my family, and when they were leaving, they really didn't have that much space in their suitcases, so they actually had to remove the original packaging, and that's why my spirals are a little bit crooked. They got damaged in the suitcase, but it's never a worry for you guys because you're gonna get this notebook in the original packaging, and Bonnie is very careful, and of course, nothing will be damaged. Okay, so I kind of wanted to show you me creating several pages. So I'm starting with a little quote, and the quote is "Let the adventure begin." This is simply because this watercolor notebook is the beginning of my watercoloring adventures, and I'm really excited to learn more watercolor and use it more. So, yeah, I thought this quote was perfect. Now, something I wanted to note here is the fact that I'm using Karin markers instead of my watercolors. The thing is that Karin markers are watercolor based, so you can actually use them as a watercolor. As you can see, it's pretty easy. You just put the color on the palette and then pick it up with a watercolor brush. Since my Sakura set is pretty basic and I am still learning how to mix colors to get more shades and more colors, the fact that I can use my Karin markers like that helps a lot, especially because I have the big set with tons of different colors and they are really, really beautiful. And one more page I want to create here is a little page with my favorite Skillshare classes on watercolor. Now, in case you guys didn't know, Skillshare is a learning platform and I've been using it for a while actually. When I started my bullet journal, Skillshare is the platform that helped me to learn a lot of creative skills and a lot of business skills as well, actually, both for my blog and for my work. It's really a fantastic learning platform and they have thousands of different classes on pretty much any topic you can think of. I do have a special link which can offer you 2 months free membership and access to all of their classes. So if that sounds like something interesting to you guys, link will be in the description. These florals that I'm drawing to decorate the page are the result of a Skillshare class I took. It's a new technique I learned, I really enjoy it, and in the end, I can play around so much with it and create something completely unique and mine. Now, back to a notebook review, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the spiral bound. It's actually a fantastic idea to have your watercolor notebook spiral bound because that way your pages will always lie flat. So there is no chance of water just flowing randomly in some other direction. You have a complete control and it's a great advantage. However, the only little nitpick I have with this kind of binding is the fact that you can never create bullet journal spreads which would last on 2 pages. There is always this space between the pages, which will be kind of a divider. It's really not a big deal for me personally because I don't really usually create the pages that are so connected. So even my weekly spreads, they're mostly divided in 2, but it's just something for you to consider if you want to use this notebook as your bullet journal. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out my blog post for more information and some links to different classes you can take. And I will see you in the next video. Keep bullet journaling and don't be a blob. Bye!